So you have no purpose, or you don't know how to find it. The truth is, you do have a purpose and you do have something authentic and unique to give to this world, but it's just an act of untangling the unconscious programs that have come in the way. What do I mean by that? The things that you've consumed on social media for years, the external projections of people around you, and the limiting beliefs that you've taken on to believe as your own. One thing I know about purpose is that true interest is revealed early. So if you look at people who are great performers, that's something I tend to do, is extract ideas from high performers and apply it into my own life. So someone like Michael Jordan, for example, it was very clear from the get-go that he was obsessed with basketball. That was what he was going to do with his life. And for some of us, it may not be that obvious. It may be very subtle, but there are signs, and we have to look for those signs and try and reconnect with those natural inclinations that we had as a child, because that is essentially what our purpose is going to be and where our purpose is going to lie. So in saying that, look back to your childhood, look back to your natural inclinations. What were you drawn to? What were the things that felt natural to you, or you felt naturally drawn to? For example, for me, I loved nice things, aesthetic things. I loved football and sports and stuff like that. So, and these are all elements that have been tied into my life and into my career and into my purpose right now. Time has a funny way of weaving all these components together, and it shows you that the ingredients for your work are all around you. And if you feel like you had nothing to connect to when you were younger, ask your parents or ask your siblings or the people that you grew up with, because they'll tell you for sure, if you don't remember yourself, the things that you were naturally drawn to. Naval is one of my favorite thinkers. I read his book, The Almanac of Naval, every single year just to refresh my brain and refresh my memory. But one thing he says is find what feels like play to you but work to others. And that's one thing I've stressed throughout everything that I teach, everything that I put out there onto the internet or into TikTok or YouTube, is find what feels like play to you. That I couldn't put it any better myself. For example, for me, I could make a piece of content every single day for 365 days and it wouldn't be any problem for me. But for some of my other friends, that would be complete chaos and stress, because it would feel like work. It would feel like a burden for them. But me, if I had to put in numbers into an Excel sheet every single day for a year, that would kill me. But I'm sure for someone else, that feels like play to them. The biggest mistake we can make is taking on the work of other people and assuming that that is our path as well. There is no one size fits all purpose. And that's because every single person in this world has a unique set of circumstances and a unique combination of experiences that have formed their mind and formed their path ahead of them. And the good news about that is you can never really feel behind, because you're not walking the same path as someone else. To be behind means you're following someone else's path, which is what you shouldn't be doing in the first place anyway. You should be forging your own and creating your own with every day that you develop and every day that you try and master your mind. Your true intuition will break through and you'll understand what it is you have to do. And that brings me on to my next point. The point of this video was, and the title of it is, that your purpose is an inside job, much like 9/11 was. But your mind is in a constant state of tug and war between your senses and your intuition. And reality will actually bend to your will when you learn to disconnect the two. So sense perception is what you see, hear, touch, and feel. And they seem pretty reliable at first, but the truth is they're blocking your intuition. Senses make good servants but bad masters, because they're fooling you into false desires and they're making you follow other people's paths because that's what you see and that's what you hear and that's what you can feel. But all it ever leads to is frustration and anger, because it's not your true intuition, it's not your true authentic calling. So one thing I try to make clear throughout my content is that true pleasure is not derived from worldly desires, it's derived from self-actualization and self-mastery, which is what this journey is about and why I'm documenting it. So untying the bind between your intuition and your senses is hard, but it's not impossible. All it takes is a little increase in awareness and a heighten in your consciousness. And once you do so, you create an unobstructed channel for the divine to come through. And that divine is your intuition. Try and introspect, try and sit in silence, because when you do that, it's the unscientific way of forcefully getting your mind and your senses to separate. So once you disconnect these two, your senses will no longer be fogging up your mind and your intuition, and you'll be able to clearly hear what your intuition has been screaming to you all along. And then you'll be able to see reality for what it is, which is just a game. And the more you level up your mind, the more you level up your internal, the more the external will fall into place. So getting back to the point, realizing your life's task is pretty simple. You just have to look at the signs, look at the past things that you have done, intentionally remove the noise from your mind, intentionally remove any voices and limiting beliefs that you have taken on, and just try and shatter the mental constructs that have been formed in your mind unconsciously. So a good question to ask yourself is, what do I notice that other people don't? For example, for me, I always, when I'm walking down the road or if I'm walking down a busy high street, I feel like I can hear things or pick up things or see certain advertising boards or see certain posters, and I can weave that into my work. Whereas the average person might just walk past it and they wouldn't even register it. So your edge is often what you see, but the world ignores. And when you're in alignment with this, you'll probably notice more coincidences than randomness actually allows appearing in your life. And what that is your intuition is guiding you. My point of all of this is following your intuition and your curiosity is a smart move because it knows more than you do. Okay, so you might be wondering, all this esoteric wisdom is all well and good, but what do I actually do? What practical steps can I take? And it's pretty simple. You do an audit of your inputs because you understand that your inputs become your outputs. So it's all about quality control. What are you allowing into your mind? What sort of chaos are you allowing into your mind? Because that's what's going to form and invite the quality of your thoughts. And that then affects your actions, and that then affects your habits, and that then affects your life. If you lack inspiration, then read. If you want a new idea, then pick up an old book. And if you want clarity, then write. Get it all out onto paper and do a brain dump. You'll probably come to find that the problems you think you're facing are not as big as you actually think when they're down on paper. So more often than not, finding your edge and finding your purpose in life is not actually about thinking more. It's about thinking less and letting the space be created for the magic to occur. Just understand that there's nothing out there external that is going to bring you the complete answer to what it is you're going to do with your life and what your true life's purpose is. There may be ingredients that you can weave into your work later down the line, but the true answers are going to rise from inside of you. So clear the noise in your mind. Understand that your intuition is your best friend if you let it guide you. And understand that the thoughts that you're thinking right now are a projection of everyone else's and all the things that you consume on a daily basis if you're not conscious about it. And ultimately, just do what you can uniquely do. Like, what is it you bring to the table that only you can do in your specific way? The most valuable people in the world understand that they are one of one in what it is they do because they're being authentic to themselves, and that's what they can bring to the table. So I always think about the example Rick Rubin gave to Kanye West when Kanye asked him if he could put this song on his album, and Rick Rubin replied and said, if this song sounds like it can be on someone else's album, it can't be on yours. Meaning, Kanye should only put out what was unique to him because that's a true expression of who he really is, and that's what will align him with his purpose. Final point, you can't copy someone else either. This is a mistake I made when I was younger, but now I understand that every outlier is truly irreplicable because they are one of one. Who they are, why they did it, how they did it, who they knew, all comes together in a perfect symphony that is meant for them. You can learn directly from them and you can absorb their way of being, but you can never be them. Hope this helps. And if you want help actually clearing these unconscious programs, the things that are coming in the way, the limiting beliefs, the procrastination, the fear, and the lack of focus, those are the things I work on inside of my programs, inside of my trainings and courses, and inside of my free newsletter. If you don't want to buy anything, of course, you're not obliged to, but join my free newsletter at least. That I send out 3 of these articles a week that are actually going to help you, practical wisdom that is going to apply to your health, wealth, relationships, business, all of these areas. And it's a game changer because they're principles I've extracted from high-level thinkers, not only in business, but athletes, celebrities, billionaires that I've got to speak to, luckily enough, in my network. And make sure you subscribe as well. I'm trying to upload 2 or 3 times a week on this channel, and I feel like it's going to be the most valuable free game on YouTube. So yeah. If you're interested in diving a little bit deeper and you're ready to take the next step, join my community below. It's not for everyone. I look at everyone that applies and see if they're a right fit. It's not just a money grab from me. I'm trying to only add people who add value to the community. So there is a price tag on it, of course, that is a little filter, but everything else you put on the application, I'll have a look and see if you're a right fit. So if you want to learn more about that, then click the link in the description and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching and please subscribe.